Peace, family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about when the enemy says, so you don't listen. You are not listening to me. You don't listen and you are not listening to me. Listening is a very tricky word as itself already, you know what I mean? And most beings are not taught to listen, to comprehend, to listen to the verbal words being used and the energy that's being put behind it, the whole package, and then responding accordingly to what's being said. A lot of us in this space didn't have to be taught these things from any elders. We just kind of naturally know, hey, somebody stabs me, I know I don't want to be stabbed, so I won't stab them. Bam! A lot of us learn from shit that we don't like or we had done to us that we didn't like, that we realize, all right, we're not going to operate in that field. And a lot of these oppositions out here, they love to use that word and that terminology, listening, as if when you say, oh, so you're not listening to them, or you're not listening to me, you're not listening to that. For one, if y'all are speaking the same language, it's hard for you to say that they're not listening because they comprehend the words that's being used. You know what I mean? That's a very big one. It's not like somebody speaking Spanish and another one is speaking English, and then one of them is saying, you're not listening to me. These are either two Spanish people saying you're not comprehending me, two people speaking English saying you're not comprehending me, two people speaking Arabic who's saying you're not comprehending me. This is a form of control. Because when you process what somebody's telling you you're not listening to, or if you're doing it, you're really dictating the situation. You know what I mean? And I know for me, I do tend to do that sometimes, but I am also a masculine male, so it's my job to do things in a leading nature, especially when a lot of us wasn't even taught. You know what I mean? So some of us are in that space to where, okay, boom, you have to be able to interpret, because there's so many different levels of everything. You know what I mean? We all look the same, but we all not at the same spiritual levels, which is why we are where we are at today. You know what I mean? So, for example, like I have had a situations where I've been engaging with more people and then just trying to dive in a little bit more deeper on like certain things being discussed or talked about, or if a word is said, a certain word is said, I'll ask for their definition or meaning of it. You know what I mean? And it was like trying to have that conversation with one being who is being irresponsive or incomprehensive, because it's not like they're not listening. Everybody's speaking the same language. Unless you're speaking a completely different language, they are listening. You are listening. So when people hit me with that shit like, oh, you're not listening, it always comes off as a form of control, like you trying to dictate me into being in agreement with whatever it is that you're saying or you're wanting of me to do. And that don't have anything to do with listening. I listened to you. I just chose to do the opposite. You listened to me. You just chose to do the opposite. So a lot of these beings will use this shit as to way of casting spells. So if you aren't aware of the spell casting, then you will have them rile you up in a situation, because what they like to do is provoke. They'll create some kind of weird situation, provoke you, get you to raise your temperature, and then, or, just give them the energy that's being presented back. You know what I'm saying? Fire with fire, water with water, whatever element you want to use, you know what I mean? You start giving them that energy back, and then that's when it flips to, oh, now is this person character wants to be in question and you are not listening. It never had anything to do with listening. You gotta realize the opposition is always looking for a way to control you. It's always looking for a way to control you. It is what they do best. So if you got Big Daddy the system, which is always trying to control us through these apps, you know what I'm saying, through trying to get shit in us, on us, you know what I mean, you should already know what the lower level minions are doing. So for me, you have what I like to do is, like, when people say these things, you know, I'm not listening. It's hard for me to intake their information because they have to be, I will have to perceive them as not intelligent for them to be saying I'm not listening, because I comprehend extremely well. So you have to come at me with a different approach or try to communicate with me on a more intellectual level. So if somebody wants to use the bathroom and the other person wants to shower, you know what I'm saying, like, and they both get up and they go in there at the same time, or one is already using the bathroom, the other one wants to go in there and pop in the shower because that's part of the routine. All right, now the friction comes in at with how the person is sitting down responds to the person coming in the bathroom to shower, if they already been engaged in some kind of ship already, you know what I mean? So if you can transpire a situation from not wanting to share the spaces, you know what I mean, to using that as a way of saying someone's not listening to you, then you have to know at this level in your life that it is a form of control. Like, it's no purpose to be dancing around, going back and forth with beings that are on a lower level. I don't give a fuck what they doing. They can have the biggest bag in the world, you know what I mean? If they carry themselves as if they are lower than dog shit, then that's just what it is, you know what I mean? Especially if you're someone aware of vibrations and energy, and you know how this thing operates, and you're constantly picking your energy up and picking other energies up. You know what I mean? And you gotta remember, when you're dealing with the opposition, you cannot put anything past them. You cannot put anything past them, you know what I mean? Because that's how the Big Daddy playbooks work. So why wouldn't their playbook work the same? So for me, I already understand when they go to some of these tactics, a lot of these tactics is just a method and a formula to try to control you or to stir your energy up, you know what I'm saying? How many times you have somebody provoke you, then look at you and then point the finger at you and say you're the problem? Like, that's retarded. Like, the demons are so weird and witchy. Like, they're trying to figure out a way to spit in your food or shoot you in the back and then have you handle the situation different. It's like, no, I'm not. No, you shouldn't. They should stop doing what they're doing, and you can stop responding how you respond. If you step on my toe and I shoot you in the face, oh well, don't step on my toe. You don't know this spirit or how far it's willing to go. So that's what I be saying about beings. In the same way we are in that manner of justice, we should have to understand that the opposition is in that same frame state when they want to inflict their work and damage on us. You know what I mean? The thing is with them, though, they only breaking themselves down. They feel like, because, oh, I put a scratch on his arm. Oh, I hurt him. Oh, he got a scratch on his arm. Or, oh, he got a lock missing. Oh, that means, he got a lock missing. Like, just because you got little war wounds and shit that happened to you during battle does not mean that they won. And even if they feel like they won, oh well, they know that they didn't. That's just their feelings, and their feelings is not dictating. They aren't in control, so I don't even want to start diving into their feelings, you know what I mean? Because the shit that they be saying and claiming that they feel when they're in that mind state, that place that they go to, that's a possession state, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like Get Out. They're in the sunken space when that shit is to the forefront. Because if that shit was already at the forefront, or if it was always at the forefront, nobody would be opening the doors with them. Nobody would be knocking at the doors with them. Nobody would be close to any doors with them. You know what I mean? So that's why they have to work all these different tactics and methods. And it's like, us just being natural, we just weave it. I know y'all done seen movies where it's like people are trying to intentionally throw stuff or hit and harm somebody, and him just, or her just walking and living their regular life is just ducking and dodging all of these obstacles that keep getting thrown their way. You know what I mean? You might trip and stumble over one, but it's like, oh shit, I ain't see that rock, but you didn't fall. You didn't scrape your face up. You didn't bust your knee open. You know what I'm saying? It was just like a little stumble. That's it. You know what I mean? So you gotta understand, when people start using that, you're not listening, it's a control tactic. You're not listening to them. If we're speaking the same language, we're listening. You're trying to control the narrative. We should already be intelligent enough to already understand these things. I don't tell people they're not listening to me. I just understand that if I say it once or twice and we're speaking the same language, I understand that, oh, you got a different perspective, and that's where you're at. You're not budging or moving. It's not my job to force you to move. You know what I'm saying? You move when you ready to move. You know what I mean? So just understanding, like, these things will be used. You know what I'm saying? Be mindful when that word list, you gotta list, and then you gotta list it in. It's a list in. You know what I mean? So that means it's a numerous of things happening when you list in. That's why it's a list. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's inward. So long as we just start trying to like break things down and be a little bit more aware, so that way when people are trying to tell you, oh, you're not listening to me, I am listening to you. I'm just choosing to stand solid. That don't have anything to do with listening to you, so you can move. Listen. You know that you can hear. You know that these are working. You know that your sensories is working. You know that you understand energy and vibrations. You know what I mean? So let's just be more aware of people casting these motherfucking spells. You know what I mean? And standing solid in your belief system, and standing solid when they are trying to warp this shit on you. You know what I mean? But I ain't want to run up too long. Tap into everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.